What a day for the Bulls today, guys. Holy crap. It's about 4:20 p.m. on the East Coast right now. Markets just closed, and all the indexes went up pretty much 2.5% on the day. The metals crushed it. Bitcoin, Ethereum, they were on fire. And we had the VIX close down about 5% on the day. So we're going to break down the markets in this video. We're going to go over a bunch of stocks from different sectors and talk about what I'm doing in the market. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the video. So again, we had a great green day overall today. All the indexes went up pretty much 2.5%, and we uptrended all day without really any pullbacks, well, except for just in the last 15 minutes of the day. But overall, it was pretty much up and away all throughout the day. You guys can see the high on the day for SPY was right around $368.50, and for Triple Q, it was right around, let's see here, about 275 rather, not 375, 275 for Triple Q, and very minor pullbacks throughout the day, and really the biggest one was right before close, but still we ended up closing on a very nice upswing, right? Or really the whole day was an upswing. And if you guys look here on the 20-day chart, let's pull that up and start talking some resistance points for Triple Q. Then we'll take a look at SPY here, what I'm looking at in the short term. What we have right now is clear resistance at 280, which if you guys recall, I mentioned this in my previous video. This was the high from Friday. The high from Friday on Triple Q was right around 275-ish, right? 274 roughly, right in that little ballpark. And we did momentarily break out of that point earlier today, but you guys can clearly see sellers came in in the last 15-20 minutes, pushed it down, and we closed under the high from Friday. It would have been great for the Bulls to close above the high, but we closed under it and under the 180 SMA here on the 20-day chart. So keep that in mind. If you think the bull run that we saw today, if you think this green's going to continue, you need to see it break 275 and honestly $280. 280 was another high from last week, I think from the middle of last week. So yeah, we closed under that resistance point on Triple Q. And SPY, if I pull it up, let's see what's going on here on the 1 day, or the 1 hour chart rather. This actually closed above the highs from Friday. The complete opposite from Triple Q. It broke above the highs at about 2:33 p.m. here on the East Coast. We saw a lot of momentum, which is great. We pulled back into close, and even though we did pull back into close, we still closed above the high from Friday here on SPY, which was right around roughly 366. And you guys can see we closed above that. We had a 2.6% green day, which is phenomenal. Now, we need to see this green continue. Well, it'd be nice for the green to continue, but if we do want to see it continue, we need to see a breakout of 375. That's what I'm trying to get at here. 370, 375, that's been a big resistance from the past roughly week here on SPY. So we broke 367 today. That's great. We closed above it roughly, but there needs to be some more damage done here by the Bulls. The Bulls need to tear it up a little bit more and get above 370, 375, and that's where we could start seeing a legitimate reversal. So we're going to talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum here in a second, but first, let's do a quick little check on oil. Yep, closed up 5%. Nothing really much has changed from our last video, and we covered in the last video, gold went crazy on the day, 2% green day for gold, and silver had one of the best days that I've ever seen from silver. Silver went up 9% on the day, went from just 17 an ounce a month ago, 17.60. Now it's at 20.77. It is up $3 an ounce in the past roughly month, and it seems like this really wants to continue. So keep your eyes on silver, guys. Seriously, if you're sleeping on the metals, if you're just looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, which honestly there's nothing wrong with that, but if you're sleeping on these metals because you think they're for boomers, they're for crazy, gold bugs that hide in bomb shelters or anything crazy like that. If that's what you think it's for, you're wrong. Seriously, you got to look at silver, gold, and I'm looking at gold. Really, well, I have gold, physical gold. I've mentioned that before, but I'm looking at silver more as kind of a short-term momentum trade. Maybe not really a short-term as in a couple of days or anything, but maybe over the span of maybe a month, 2-3 months. So maybe like a more of a midterm swing trade I'm looking at it, especially if it breaks 21. This is one that I'm going to be watching. And to trade silver, a very simple way to do that is to use SLV, which is pretty much a silver ETF that tracks the price of silver. I mentioned GLD in my recent video, which tracks gold. This is the paper way to buy gold and silver, which I don't think it's smart to buy and hold these for the long term. I rather have the physical metal. I think that's really the point of having metals, not to just have the paper version of it. But if you're going to trade it in the short term, it's actually smarter to trade GLD or something like an SLV. And again, if silver starts breaking $21 an ounce, SLV is going to be one that really is going to start ripping. If this thing starts taking out $19.25, $19.50, watch out above on SLV. So I'm going to set my alert at $19.25, and I'm going to watch it. If that point breaks, we got some gaps on the upside, guys. Look at this. SLV could really start gaining some steam. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. As always, I'd love to know. And if you want 15 stocks from Moomoo, free money, use that link down below. Deposit at least $100 and you get 15 stocks, each up to $2,000. And it also helps out the channel. Full disclosure, I appreciate you guys as always. So now let's dive over to Webull, which is another platform. You could get 12 stocks from them down below. And I like using Webull to chart my crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all that good stuff. Check it out. Bitcoin right now is at 19,500. It's actually not having as explosive of a day as you would have thought. I mean, looking at the stock market, looking at silver, gold, you would have thought Bitcoin's got to be up 8 to 10% or at least 5% on the day, right? It's not up that much, but still, it's up a respectable amount, 2.5%. And the truth is, even though it's up 2.5%, it's still not breaking out of this sideways action that it's really been in at this point for the past 3 weeks. You guys can see we've been moving sideways from 18.5 to 19.5, 20,000-ish, as resistance. So right now we're at 19.5. We're not really doing much. We're still in this, again, sideways action here. So nothing really has changed. I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Nothing's really, has changed here on Bitcoin. If this maybe starts breaking 20,000, 20,500. All right, we might get some momentum to that resistance from earlier in September, 22,500, 700. All right, but again, it's still in sideways action, and I'm going to be watching 20,000, 20,500 on the upside here in the very short term as resistance. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again. If Bitcoin breaks 18, we're probably going to go to 17.5. If 17.5 breaks, we're coming down to 14.5, 15,000. That's what I'm seeing on these longer-term charts. And I'll show you here again. Look, 18.5, 19,000. That was the all-time high from 2017. We're pretty much holding that now. If that level gives, which I suspect is possible, we got a wide-open gap to 14.5, which was the high from the rally that Bitcoin saw in June of 2019, which was, 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago. So those are some quick little thoughts, a quick little update here on good old Bitcoin, still moving sideways, still looking pretty boring, at least to me. And when it comes to Ethereum, let's pull this up. Ethereum, Ethereum is right around 1316. Pretty much same thing as Bitcoin. Well, not the price, but the fact that it's moving sideways from the past, for the past 2.5, 3 weeks. Well, really 2 weeks for Ethereum. It's been moving sideways, holding pretty much 1,200, 1,225 on the downside. Resistance has been 1,350 to about 1,400. So this is it's sideways, really. It's moving sideways. It's up 3% on the day, but really it's not picking direction like we'd want it to. We'd want it to see, if bulls got it above 1,400, that'd be awesome. That'd be a breakout spot for Ethereum. If bears got it under 1,200, then we might be going to 1,000, but we're just not picking direction. We're just flat, consolidating. That's been the moral of the story over the past couple of weeks for these cryptos. So with that being said, let's dive over to ThinkOrSwim and break down some stocks. And again, if you guys want 12 free stocks from Webull, this platform right here, use that link down below. Deposit any amount of money and you get 12 stocks. All of those could be valued over 30, something, a crazy amount of money. All the stocks valued. So go get those linked right down below. And with that being said, again, let's go to ThinkOrSwim and break down some stocks. I don't have really a bunch of specific stocks I want to talk about, but I wanted to run through the sectors today. We'll talk a little bit about big tech. We'll see how those did today. We'll run through some healthcare, maybe some energy. We'll see what's going on. So let's start with big tech like we always do. Let's just run through. Let's see how Apple did, Amazon, all those good stocks. So good stuff, rather. Well, I guess stocks as well. Apple went up 3% on the day, closed above $140 a share. And if I show you all this, clearly we're still in a downtrend. But if I show you all the 20-day, you really get a glimpse at the fact that we're still in a downtrend, right? We got very oversold in the pre-market or aftermarket, whenever that was. We got down to 136 on Apple. And we just got a bit of a nice bounce back today. That's what it was. $142 is where we closed, up 3% on the day. And you guys can see we're still under the 50 and the 180 SMAs here on this time frame. Now, if we do break above, let's say, 143, which I'll put my alert there now. That was the pre-market high from not today, but from Friday. If we break out of there, we might see a push, fill the gap to about 148, 150. That's kind of what I'm seeing here on the 20-day chart. If we end up seeing that, that'd be a nice $5, $6, $7 move on Apple. We also have Google, which is kind of in a similar predicament. It's under the moving averages here. We're above the 50 SMA slightly, but under the 180. So yeah, I guess it's above one of them, but under one of them. And we're still under the highs from, this looks like Wednesday or Thursday of last week, about $100. Now, if Google breaks $100, $102, which I kind of don't want it to do, but whatever. I mean, we can't really control anything in the stock market now that I think about it. Really nothing. Well, except for our actions and what we do. But in terms of controlling the stock prices, we can't do that. That's for sure one thing we cannot do. But it's how it is. And let's say we do break 100 on Google, $102, roughly the highs from last week, the week before. That's where we could start getting a reversal, a legitimate reversal in the short term, maybe a relief rally back towards $105, 110, 13. These are some levels that I could see this thing potentially getting to if it really starts getting hot. What else do we have? Meta, I think Meta today hit 130 something, or that was the other day. Yeah, 132 today. It's at 138 pretty much still, and a downtrend here like a lot of these big tech stocks, pretty much all of them. Amazon had a 2.5% green day today. Not bad for Amazon. And this one, technically speaking, might look the best out of all of them. We have a bit of a bullish divergence here. We're at the bottom of the channel, consolidating right at about 115, 110. We are under the moving averages, though, which isn't the best, but if we start getting some momentum, I'd say above 120, 125, it could really start getting hot. On Amazon, maybe up towards 130, 35, maybe even beyond. And what else? Am I missing? Which one am I missing? Microsoft, how did that do today? Microsoft, 3.4% green day. And look at this, actually. This is actually moving above the 50 here on the 4-hour, which is good. We're slightly peaking above the highs from Friday. I'm going to set my alert at 242. Let's do that now. Mark is that we're above 242. If this point breaks, 260 could be next. If we get a relief rally in the markets, that's right by the 180 SMA 4-hour time frame here. That could yield about 5, 6, 7%, depending on, of course, when you get in. Well, I'm not telling you to get in, but let's say hypothetically you got in at 240, exited at about 255, 60. That'd be a decent, 5, 6% move on Microsoft. And as always, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. You have to do your own research to make your own decisions in the stock market, not relying on me or anybody else or any other YouTuber, stock market wizard or guru, which I'm not saying I'm a guru by any stretch of the imagination, but whoever you perceive as a guru out there, you gotta do your own research. Don't just blindly follow anybody, right? So that's a little rundown on big tech. Let's see how oil did today. XLE is an energy ETF that I own. It went up 6%. Very nice day for XLE, but look at this. Not trying to ruin the parade or poop on the parade or whatever you want to call it, right? Rain on the parade. I don't know why I said poop on the parade. You guys know what I mean, right? What we're noticing here is a head and shoulders potentially in the making on XLE. That is not the best sign here for the bulls in the short term. You guys can see we're still under the neckline, which is right around 78. 79, 80, roughly a share, which, that's where the left shoulder formed, whatever you want to call it, back in July. Then we broke out of there, formed the head. Now we're slightly under the 180 SMA, which is where the right shoulder could form. Now, if the bulls get out of 80, 78, $80, We break the neckline. The head and shoulders goes out the window. At that point, we're probably going to start running for 85, 90, maybe even higher. But if we fail at 78, 80, you bet your you know what, we're probably going to start selling off from there. So keep that in mind with XLE here, and let's see how some of these individual energy stocks look like. Exxon, let's pull this up. Is this head and shoulders? Let's see. A little bit, yeah. I mean, we have a wedge, but we also have, you could argue, a head and shoulders here in the making on Exxon. Let's see CVX, which is Chevron. Yeah, you could argue the same thing as well. I mean, you guys see it right here. Let me make sure you all can see it. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So that could be a head and shoulders in the making, which makes me a little bit worried. Oxy, let's pull that up. Oxy, well, you could argue this one as well. I mean, you know, we have an uptrend here, clearly holding higher lows, but if we look at the data, the price action from the past couple of weeks, months, you can see, boom, head and shoulders. Now, if Oxy breaks out of 66, 67 a barrel, it could start breaking out of there. You know, breaking up from there, that'd be the break of the neckline. We might fill the gap from there to $73, $75, $77, but we're not there yet, so don't get too excited. So keep your eyes on those energy stocks, XLE, what else? Healthcare, well, how did healthcare do today? Pretty much everything did well today, guys. The Dow stocks crushed it. UNH had a 2% green day. J&J had, wow, J&J went down today. Well, I was wrong. Not everything crushed it. J&J had a red day today, but overall, pretty good day for all sectors. AbbVie had a 3% green day. What else? Merck had a 2% green day, and we have an overall head and shoulders here on Merck. You guys see that left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We're slightly under the 180 on the neckline, so I'd be careful with Merck in the short term. But if it breaks out of 88, 90, maybe we'd have a legitimate case for a breakout there. But we're simply not there yet. So what else can we cover? I mean, let's see how the REITs have been doing. Let's see how real estate, I don't want to say real estate stocks. I mean, that's not what they are, but REITs, this is what they've been doing. Realty income has been pretty much in a straight downwards line the past couple of months. And now that I'm looking at this, holy crap, realty income's down 20% since the middle of August. I'm sure this has a lot to do with everything going on right now in the economy, obviously, which we're not going to get into that in this video, but this has destroyed realty income. And now that I'm thinking about it, I have to buy more of this. I have to buy more. I'm going to start dollar cost averaging because this is one that I bought initially in the beginning of this year, and I've periodically bought it throughout the course of the year, but not really recently. And I guess now is my chance. I'm going to start buying some more realty income, guys, because this is a nice dividend payer. You might not like dividends. They're not for everybody, but for me, I like having some exposure to dividend-paying companies, and I'm going to be reinvesting all the dividends on this REIT. And if you have something like this, for example, let's say in a Roth IRA, it's a must in my. I don't want to say it's a must because, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but having something like this in a Roth IRA is amazing because all the dividends, you're not paying taxes on them. You can reinvest those dividends. All the gains you make, you're not paying taxes on them. So for me, having dividend stocks in general in a Roth IRA is the best way to go. Unless you want to live on them right now or you want to supplement your income with maybe an extra couple $100 a month or whatever. It all depends on you. But for me, within a tax advantaged Roth IRA, that's where I'd put a bunch of these REITs, dividend stocks. That's me personally. Do whatever you want. As always, I'm not a financial advisor. You got to make your own decisions. So I guess with that being said, we could wrap the video up on that note. If you all enjoyed it, you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and feel free to check out my Patreon if you guys want all my buy, sells, call outs, morning videos, more access to me throughout the day. That's linked right down below on Patreon, and now's the best time to try it. It's early in the month. You can try it, cancel it if you don't like it. And if you haven't gotten your 15 stocks from Moomoo or your 12 stocks from Webull, all those are linked down below. What are you waiting for? And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.